Hey y'all, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing awesome today. Welcome to Zahatka. My name is Valentina, and today I'll be showing you a tutorial of two different ways of how to make a laptop sleeve. Show you two different methods of how I made these. They look the same, but how we got here is a little bit different. So if you're excited to see and ready to learn, hit that thumbs up button and let's go! So this will be the first version I show you, and what we do first is cut out our main top piece of fabric and cut out the batting. And for the batting, I am doing a cotton batting, and I'm doing it double layered because the cotton batting is kind of thin, and since I'm making this a laptop sleeve, I want it to be more padded. So I'm cutting two of the rectangle pieces out. I clip all that together and then I sew on my quilted pattern because you know I love to make everything quilted. But I'm going to be using a quilting guide, that little lever you see that's down right now. I'm not using it, but I will be on all the next lines, so I didn't have to draw out the lines. I just used the quilting guide, and I do 1/2 inch lines all the way across the whole. And whenever I do cut out my batting, I do always like it to be a little bit bigger, like slightly bigger. And at the end, once I'm done with my quilted design, I just cut off the excess. Next is the zipper, and I just measure it across and give it a little space. I cut out up maybe 1 to 1/2 inch more than however wide my piece of fabric is. And then I cut out my liner and just one big rectangle. Now to put the zipper on, I do like to break it in half and do it one side at a time. So I put the zipper down and upside down on top of the outer piece that's laying upwards, and then I put my liner on top of the zipper. And if your liner is different, you want to put the pretty side down, so it'll be pretty side of your outer piece, the zipper upside down laying down, and then the pretty side of your liner laying down. And that is what I refer to as my zipper sandwich. I sew on that zipper with the zipper foot, and then I iron down both the inside and the outside of where that zipper seam is. And I like to iron it down and then do my top stitch because it's much easier to keep that liner out of the way that way. And then I do that top stitch, and the top stitch is done to make sure that your liner does not get stuck in your zipper. Now it's time to put on the zipper slider, so you line those two ends up and slide on your zipper slider and turn everything the wrong side out. So just like that, and you'll clip it all together on both sides. So I like to clip where the zippers are first to make sure that they're lined up, and then I clip the sides where I need to sew. Now with this first version, I'm sewing just down of the two sides because we did have one big piece, not two separate ones. And so I just sewed down one side and then the other side, not the top and the bottom. And you just leave a gap in the liner so you can turn your project right side out, cut off any excess zipper you might have or fabric, and then turn your project right side out. When turning it right side out, make sure you poke out all the corners and everything before you sew that liner back up where that hole was, and then your project is complete. And the second one, the big difference is we're going to have two pieces instead of one big one. And so first we start off the same way, cutting out our materials, the outer piece and then the batting. And I'm cutting out two pieces now of the outer material instead of just one. And for the batting, I'm cutting out 4 rectangles of batting and putting 2 on each side of the pieces. Since I have 2 pieces, that means to double layer my batting, I'm gonna need 4 pieces of batting. Now, the process is basically still the same. I clip everything together, the 2 batting pieces with the top piece, and I do that for both of the pieces. So you see I have one rectangle and then another rectangle, and then I sew on my quilted pattern. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm just using my little quilting guide, and I'm going to be doing 1/2 inch apart lines up and down. Now I cut out my zipper and my liner. So the zipper, the same thing, I just measure and leave a little bit of extra. And my liner, I will need 2 pieces of the liner, 2 rectangle pieces the same size as your outer piece with the batting attached to it. Now I just get my zipper, break it apart, and do the same thing, do the zipper sandwich, and sew on the zipper, iron it down, and sew on the top stitch, and I do this for both of the rectangles. Now the zipper and the top stitch is sewed and it's time to put your zipper slider on. And this is your first time attaching the two rectangles together. So you'll just slide on that zipper slider the same way you did. Now with this version, same thing, you turn it inside out by putting the pretty side to pretty side of your outer piece and pretty side to pretty side of your liner. It'll look exactly the same, but you'll just have to clip it all around. And as I mentioned, I like to do the zippers first to make sure the zippers line up properly, and then I clip it all around everywhere else. And with this version, you're going to be sewing all around your liner and your outer piece and leaving like a 2-inch gap in your liner on the bottom or on the side, wherever you choose to. On that one, we just did one side and then the other side. Here, you're doing all the sides. Now when you're done with all your sewing, just clip off the corners at an angle to make sure they poke out nicely. And then the 2-inch gap you left is for turning the project right side out. I'd like to grab one of the corners and just start pulling, and eventually it all comes out. Now, same thing, you just make sure all your corners are poked out, and then you're done with your second project, your second MacBook case or whatever you want it to be. And as you can see, the biggest difference on the two different cases is on the bottom. So if you have two rectangles, you'll have a seam at the bottom. If you have one big rectangle, you won't have a seam at the bottom. Let me know down in the comments which version you like better, with or without the seam at the bottom. And I do hope this tutorial was super helpful for you and you did learn something. And if you did, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and all that good stuff that helps me out. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye!